Whoa, that is wild. This part specific. I'm not sure what I think, to be honest. So I'm really excited to see if anyone has any comment to give. The situation started when, on a poll retweet from Commission post, Rachel sent a screenshot and says, "Well, gang, I wouldn't recommend trying to commission if you're a queer person, I guess." And it has this a screenshot saying, "Hi, hello Richie. I was reviewing the waitlist. I came across your membership request. I truly apologize for the mistake of adding you before carefully reviewing. Unfortunately, I won't be able to work on this piece as I don't draw queer code. Please know it's absolutely nothing against your character or idea. It simply comes from my personal religious belief, and I'm trying to stay faithful to that. I deeply apologize for not clarifying this earlier, and for any inconvenience or disappointment this may cause. I am sincerely grateful for your interest in the commission, and I truly appreciate your understanding. Thank you so much again, and I'm really sorry for the oversight." And this tweet had several reactions, and we're gonna rate through some of them. As that here says, "Alright, let me get this straight. The artist was honest, didn't ghost you, was respectful, did explain their reasons for not wanting to work on your commission. They apologized, thanked you, and what you do is to go out with it and publicly shame them. Gotcha. You wanna be respected? Be respectful." Kiyomu says, "Semantics perhaps, but are you implying that the artist's refusal to provide service was based on your identity of being queer, rather than the art request depicting a queer couple? Because that's not what the message said. However, too often is this kind of framing deliberate, so it's very hard to give the benefit of the doubt anymore." Sleepy says, "My hot takes that having bigoted things in your VGN forms or TOS should equal a ban. I don't think it's right to allow bigoted people on the platform at all. We already have to deal with that on socials and IRL. In my opinion, VGN should be a safe space, and it's ridiculous how many times I've seen artists like this. I don't know if VGN has any like terms in relation to this, but I wish they did. Queerphobia and racism shouldn't be able to run rampant on there. And yet here we are. So I don't care if I'm the only one who thinks this. These artists should be able to be reported to VGN for bigotry. Yes, technically you can reject whatever commissions you want, and no one can force you to draw what you don't want, but the platform shouldn't allow this kind of thing. You can go be queerphobic somewhere else." Blue Moon says, "There's no respectful way to be homophobic or discriminatory. Hate is hate regardless of the language used. Politeness is not a get out of bigotry free card. Refusing to depict queer people on the basis that their love is quote unquote inappropriate is discrimination." Mokarui says, "People attacking these artists are actual NPCs. These artists has been nothing but kind and explained why they were uncomfortable doing that kind of commission. That's it. Never said a bad thing about them, just told you it was against your religion and you took upon yourself to put them on blast. Artists have the right to refuse service. Send the artists some love, guys, because they are getting so much hate." Remy says, "Counterpoint to all the people bashing Richie for sharing this and saying it's the artist's right to refuse commission. Just as it's the artist's right to refuse service to people who they feel go against their personal morals and beliefs, the same is true for customers who don't want to purchase services from someone who holds those beliefs. Why is it okay for the artist to refuse service, but not okay for refused customers to let other prospective customers know about this person's beliefs and decide for themselves whether that's the kind of person they want to purchase art from? It's giving rules for thee but not for me energy gang." And as you can see, the opinion seems to be quite 50-50. Some people are defending the artist, some people are defending the client, but the person I agree the most with so far seems to be Remy. That's kind of like the opinion I see as well. Was the artist queerphobic? I don't know, but I don't think it's a problem to like. So these artists won't draw queer stuff, so if you're queer and don't feel comfortable commission these artists, here, so now you know. They didn't send hate to them. It was much more of an awareness post. Will people send hate to the artist? Some people will. People are crazy like that. I don't think we should send hate to anyone, but people always send hate. There are always some crazy people out there. But I think it's fair to make this quote-unquote call-out post. It's more of an awareness post more than anything, but I think it's valid to do that. I don't think it's valid to throw hate on either parts. And continuing, Richie, who made the original post, says, people say I'm attacking them when all I did was share a screenshot of their own words. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you need to start doing some reflecting instead of feeding your victim complex. And Stotaku retweets and says, you are attacking them. You did everything you could to make a respectable, polite refusal of the project look like she was basically Satan. Neko retweeted the original post, Neko is the artist, and says, hi everyone, I didn't expect to be awake with a notification, or was expecting to, but I truly didn't expect this would blow up. First of all, I'm very sorry for this heartening experience of what happened to the fellow past client who had queer couple characters in their reference. I had just opened VGen a few days ago and was not aware of how the system worked. It was completely my fault for not checking and understanding how requests submission are done. I wrote an important note saying do and don't will be discussed in DMs, so I was used to how other platforms work. But VGen is different. You have to submit a request first before being able to DM, which is not true. You can DM before submitting a request in VGen. And this was my fatal mistake. No, I'm not queerphobic. I'm surrounded by many kind queer people, both in real life and online, who have helped me shape me into a kinder person. But apparently, I choose to not engage in activities related to queer relationships while still being friends with queer people. I take full responsibility for the misunderstanding and will make sure this never happens again. I will update and rebuild my page with clear guidelines and info, and I deeply apologize to those who felt uncomfortable because of my lack of awareness. Thank you to everyone who took the time to point it out. I truly appreciate the chance to learn and grow through this, and I hope we can be peaceful. If you still have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll try my best to explain and answer them clearly. Did they really throw the card, I'm not queerphobic because I have queer friends? Well, that is wild. This part specifically. The reply was pretty tame, but this part specific, like, I'm not queerphobic, I have queer friends. Damn. This leaves a bad taste in my mouth, not gonna lie. Adriel says, putting aside whether or not the artist is homophobic, I think it was 100% okay to let other people know that this particular artist does not take commission for queer art. As someone who gets BL-related art, I am glad to know ahead of time not to bother requesting from these artists. I think it's an oversight on the artist's part to not have this listed on their description / TOS is vague and shows the artist's description and how it's not mentioned on the TOS. Remy again says, kind of an outtake. Artists told purchaser via professional channels they don't draw queer art for religious reasons. Commissioner shares that information to his fan base so they know that these artists do not do queer art. Person saves artists the effort of having to tell people I don't draw queer people by doing so, and somehow disqualifies this public shaming. I'm struggling to see where the public shaming comes into it. They didn't sue the artist or say go attack this person or look at this horrible individual who, boy, I hope they gets it. They said, I can't recommend this person for queer art, I guess. Business exchanges are not entitled to privacy, especially when discussing business policies that should be front-facing and written on their damn terms of service. It's no longer a private personal opinion and it dictates who will and want to do business with. To add on my point, just as it's the artist's right to refuse service to people who they feel go against their personal morals and beliefs, the same is true for customers who don't want to purchase services from someone who holds those beliefs. Why is it okay for the artist to refuse service, but not okay for customers to let other prospective customers know about this person's beliefs and decide for themselves whether that's the kind of person they want to purchase art from? It's giving rules for thee but not for me energy again, which I fully agree. Hey, if you've made this far into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for your time. Now let's get back into the video. Will says, gee, you people are so oblivious to homophobia when it's conveyed in a nicer language. So what if a cafe puts up a sign that says no queer people allowed, sorry? What then? It's not discrimination because it's their establishment? To this, the artist posted another response, a much longer one, that says, hello everyone, I'm sorry for leaving this account without updates for the past few days. During that time, I spent a lot of it reading, observing, and trying to understand various perspectives shared by different people. I kept the replies open because I believe everyone has their own view and there is nothing wrong with sharing them respectfully. Among the many messages I received, I want to express my deepest gratitude to those who offered their support and kindness. Regarding the main issue, I will continue to stand by my decision and have since updated my video in terms of service. Moving forward, I will make sure to be more mindful and do do thorough research before making any decisions. I also want to thank those who showed concern for my well-being. Some people mentioned that I might have violated VGen's TOS, so I personally reached out to the VGen team through email to clarify and apologize for bringing their platform name into this matter. The VGen team kindly responded, confirming that I'm allowed to decide to decline client requests based on my personal boundaries and that I didn't violate VGen's TOS. I'm still active on VGen and will continue taking commissions, this time with clearer preparation, awareness, and professionalism. And while this is social media, I truly hope everyone can be more mindful and take the time to verify information before making statements about things that haven't been confirmed. There have been various forms of misinformation spreading about me, which unfortunately shift the focus away from the main issue, one of it being me having a drawn porn or NSFW. I don't hold any resentment toward those who misunderstood or spoke out of confusion. I understand how quickly things can escalate online. At the end of the day, I only wish for a healthy and respectful environment, where both artists and clients can communicate openly without fear of misinterpretation. I'll keep striving to create art and build connections that reflect kindness and respect for everyone involved. I'd also like to sincerely apologize regarding my recent WhatsApp status. No, I do not wish anyone to ever hurt themselves. The caption I wrote was, "I've had several moods saying this to me too. I hope anyone that jumped on me by sending death threats won't do the same thing to anyone else. It was reckless on my part to upload it, and I understand how it could have been interpreted differently. It was never my intention to cause harm or distress to anyone, and I am genuinely sorry for the hurt or confusion it may have caused. I only want to express my hope that no one else experiences what I did, and that we all learn to treat each other with more understanding and respect. However, I realize now that my way of expressing it was inappropriate and unprofessional, and I take full responsibility for that mistake. I hope this can serve as a reminder, both to myself and others, to be more mindful about what we share publicly, especially when emotions are high. Everyone deserves kindness and respect, even in disagreement. Thank you to those who have spoken to me and helped me reflect on this matter. Your words have encouraged me to grow and become a more considerate person. I hope this will be the end of this discussion. Moving onwards, I will always keep my head high, to respect every religion, sexuality, and race. I also want to make it clear that I hold no hatred or discrimination toward queer people. I truly respect everyone for who they are. With all due respect, I wish for everyone to not continue the conflict between queer and non-queer individuals as seen from my case. I truly hope this can be a moment for reflection and understanding, not division. And Kugo says, VGen's answer about recent uproar. I will not tolerate anyone who drag an artist when they refuse any kind of commission they are not comfortable with, whether it's straight or queer pairs, furry or old people, and OTPs and many more. Respect others if you want to be respected too." And screenshots VGen's reply that reads, "Hello, thank you for taking the time to share your concern with us. We understand how important this issue is, and we truly appreciate you bringing it to our attention. To clarify, VGen does not tolerate discrimination of any kind. Any violation of this policy results in administrative action. That said, we are a global community and our users come from many regions, each with its own laws, customs, and cultural or religious frameworks. In certain areas, creating specific types of content can unfortunately carry serious legal risks for the artist. In the case being referenced, the artist declined the request politely and respectfully, explaining that doing so would go against their religious beliefs. There was no hateful or derogatory language used. If there had been, the situation would be viewed and handled very differently. Our team takes reports of hate speech or discrimination extremely seriously. Ultimately, we cannot compel artists to create work they are not comfortable with, whether for personal, religious, or legal reasons, as long as that refusal is communicated respectfully and without prejudice. We hope this helps clarify our position, and we sincerely appreciate you raising your concerns with us. Please continue to report any incidents that may involve harassment, hate speech, or discrimination, as maintaining a respectful and inclusive environment is one of our core priorities." Lung Lung retweeted that it says, "VGen has made it clear that artists will not be punished for not taking certain types of commissions. For the people saying that the artists should have had what they want to do in their TOS and this drama wouldn't have happened, don't lie to yourself. Two artists had their TOS saying they would not draw LGBTQ pairings and people attacked them. So in the future, just fucking move on. If you want to spread awareness, do it in DMs or Discord, not on Twitter or TikTok. Yes, I see you on TikTok. you no LTP. I wouldn't be surprised if VGen bans people who cause witch hunts in the future. And Celestium says, VGen's response here is amazing. The artist was respectful in denying the commission. If this is homophobia, then anytime someone from the LGBT says they don't like Christianity, it's going to be Christophobia. Of course, many of them wouldn't say that, because we're not an oppressed group according to their twisted standards. My hope is that this will set a precedent that you can still disagree with someone, regardless of their self-identification. I know that art is going to thrive, and I'm excited to see them make a breakthrough regardless of the large, unnecessary amount of hate they're getting. As you can see, in this whole situation, people have all sorts of opinions. Some are defending the artist, some are against the artist. What do you think? Don't forget to leave a comment. I'm not sure what I think, to be honest. So I'm really excited to see if anyone has any comment to give. That's it for today. Bye bye!